Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and I am going to tell you my top 10 figures for, my favorite top 10 figures for Marvel of 2020. Now, all these guys here are nominations, um, wait, not nominations, what was it called again? Um, Hold on, I forgot. Honorable mentions. Sorry. So these are honorable mentions, and who I have here is I mean, pretty much tell, but um I'm giving these guys honorable mentions because they're either not the most action figure type of action figure. They have either that, they have issues, or I technically didn't get them this year, or well, I did, but I didn't like they were released a different year, and I didn't get them another year. Like Mafex Iron Spider right there, right there. I got him for Christmas this year, but I didn't. But he wasn't released this year, and that's the I think second version with the kind of the thinner gold paint on the ball hinges for the Waldos, but I could be wrong. Um, and I do plan on reviewing him, even though I'm missing a right magnetic foot. I think it's the right one. But that's okay. I mean, I don't usually use the magnetic hands and feet that much anyway, so. But anyway, enough stalling. So, the ninth honorable mention is Marvel Legends Hugh Jackman Wolverine. He's a really cool figure, but the biggest issue I have with him is he doesn't have any relaxed hands or open hands, so that I could do more photography with him. It's pretty much either fists or fists with claws, and then the head he's got on right now, which you can kind of see, kind of not. Um, and a more yelling head, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's just I wish he had more options. Um, then coming in at number 8 is, if my phone will shut up, MCU Vision. Really cool figure, and right now it's really the only 1/12 scale Vision we have on the market as far as the MCU goes. Hopefully Bandai and Tamashii will make an SH Figuarts Vision, or maybe Medicom will make a Mafex Vision. I don't care which one, but I want one of them to make a Vision because I think they could do a better job. Not to say that the Hasbro's bad, it's just kind of eh. Speaking of other eh figures, Negasonic Teenage Warhead coming in at number 7. She's cool, but she's a bit gummy in the legs, and I don't like that, so yeah. And I do apologize for this being so blurry, but it's the best I could do. Um, Professor X is mostly reuse, and I did have some issues with the eye paint on the older Professor X head, which I do prefer. So, I mean, I didn't really expect them to like make a new body for him, but at the same time, it would have been nice to like have a little more pizzazz, if you know what I mean. But for what he is, he's still really cool, and I'm glad to have him in my collection. Um, Fox movie Mystique, she's pretty cool. I just don't know how I would go about editing her photos because I mean there's a lot of stuff going on with the whole scale, the whole folding scale shape shifting thing, like in the movie. But she's still really cool. SH Figuarts Rescue, she's a cool figure. I do prefer the SHF over the Marvel Legends, but she is a bit hard to kind of manipulate in the legs, and it's because of the fact that she has a floating crotch piece, and it's hard to get that aligned and keep that from scraping the paint while kind of manipulating the legs. So that being said, she's at number 4. Um, she's not the most articulated, or posable, I should say, especially in the wrists. So, but they tried. They did what they could. Number 3 is Marvel Legends movie Venom. Really freaking cool figure. I'm really glad to have him in my collection finally. And yeah. Number 2 would be Mafex Iron Spider. Again, because he wasn't, this version of him wasn't released this year, and I got him this year, so he's going in the honorable mentions, but he is not going in my favorite figures of this year. If he was released this year, that'd be a different story. And last but certainly not least, for number 1, and I put him at number 1 because it's freaking Stan the Man Lee, man. I mean, the Marvel Legends is a good figure. I know some people have made better custom figures with like third-party heads and stuff, but for a $20 Stan Lee action figure of basically a civilian figure, I mean, it's such a good figure. So I'm really happy to have him in the collection. I do not regret getting him at all because my number 1 rule is if you have a Marvel shelf or a Marvel display, you have to have something Stan Lee in the collection. You have to. It's my number 1 rule. So anyway, with that being said, let's get on to figure number 10. Okay, sorry for the awkward camera angle, guys, but coming in at number 10, we have the Marvel Legends Magneto from the Fox X-Men movies. I don't know what it is about this guy. He's just really cool to kind of mess around with. I do prefer the older, like Professor X, I do prefer the older Magneto head sculpts. Excuse me, head sculpts. So that's why I have the helmeted old Magneto head sculpt on here, and I have the unhelmeted one with the other Marvel Legends accessories. So yeah, plus two splayed out hands, excuse me, and 2 fists. Perfect. Like if you're gonna have a retail figure that or a mass-produced figure that doesn't really deal with a lot of stuff like weapons and swords and that kind of thing, and just moves stuff with his mind, whether it's metal or not, perfect accessories right there. Then again, holding hands would be great if he was a Jedi, but I kind of covered that. I've kind of talked about that many times, but the cool part about him especially is the pinless knees and elbows, and they're double hinged, so that's really freaking cool. So anyway, let's move on to the number 9 spot. Alrighty then, so coming in the number 2, or not number 2, sorry, the number 9 spot is the Marvel Legends Deadpool 2 Cable, played by Josh Brolin, the guy that played Thanos in the MCU. And yeah, really cool figure. He does only come with fists and trigger finger hands, but I think for a mass retail figure for a character that wields guns, I think it's perfect. So, and he's so low on the list because mostly because they could have done a bit of a better job by like giving the teddy bear a wash and giving the some paints to the inside of the arm. But I mean, that's stuff I can tweak myself, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, it would have been nice, especially for this guy being a freaking Walmart exclusive, which, grants, it's funny, the Marvel team does a better job at releasing exclusives than the Star Wars team. Wonder why that is. Maybe that's a topic for another day, but anyway, but yeah, really well articulated for a retail figure. I do wish he had butterfly joints. That would help a bit, but the torsos are reused from the Luke Cage, the Netflix Luke Cage, and the comic Hydro Man, excuse me. So, it's all good. But yeah, really good figure, good accessories. So yeah, let's move on to the number 8 spot. And coming in at number 8, we have Domino. And she's got some cool stuff as well. You know, pinless double hinged knees, which is awesome. I don't like that number right there, but I mean, I could probably like touch it up with some paint or take it off with some rubbing alcohol or maybe just nail polish remover or something. But anyway, she's really cool. She's got two of these, I think Uzis, I think they're called. This kind of sci-fi-ish pistol, which has a port. So if you have any of the blast effects from like Black Widow, from Target or Walmart, you can use those blast effects here, which is really cool. And you get two pairs of hands, two trigger finger hands, two fists, and you also get two heads, one like this, which has her goggles on her forehead, and then you also have one where I think she's less smiley, she's kind of more neutral, and she doesn't have the goggles, which both head sculpts are really good. And just a bit of a side note here, I don't care if they make Domino, you know, like this instead of the pale white skin like in the comics. It's a it's a live action movie adaptation. If you're griping about it, get over it. If you're not, then cool, because I hate it when people gripe and complain about little stuff like that. But anyway, she has great articulation and everything like that. So, like that's not bad for being on a that's not bad for a female figure because they don't have a lot of torso movement, but at least with Marvel Legends. But anyway, let's continue on to figure number 7. Sorry, I lost my count there. And moving on to number 7, we have the SH Figuarts Loki from Avengers. And honestly, this is a really cool figure. I love the accessories, I love the sculpt work, the paint work, just everything about this is amazing, except the articulation. He's a bit hindered in some places, like the hips, the ankles, I think. Definitely the neck. The neck is the most hindered, whether you have the helmet on or off. So that is my only gripe with this figure. Other than that, this thing is damn near perfect. So if you're in the market for a good Avengers Loki, oh, and the cape is a bit meh, but I mean that's Bandai and Tamashii with their capes for you. But if you're in the market for a really good Loki, I highly recommend this figure. But if it's too expensive for you, then I completely get it. But yeah, really good Loki figure. Now let's continue on with figure number 6. And continuing on with figure number 6, it is the SH Figuarts Infinity War Scarlet Witch. And man, this thing is really cool. It's a great figure. The articulation's pretty good. The sculpt is amazing. They just nailed it, and the face sculpts are, if not dead on, extremely close to Elizabeth Olsen. Sorry, my tongue is twisting tonight. But yeah, I mean, just such a good figure. And the effects on the arms, those are Marvel Legends effects from the Marvel Legends Scarlet Witch and Vision 2 pack. I wanted a Vision and I wanted the effects from Scarlet Witch, so when I was at Think Geek, I saw the 2 pack, I grabbed the only one that was there. You know how it goes. But anyway, but yeah, the effects really enhance the effects that the Marvel Legends effects already enhance what the SH Figuarts effects do. So that being said, I really do enjoy this figure. I had a blast taking photos with her, fighting against battle droids, and I may do the same with her fighting against stormtroopers. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, let's continue on with figure number 5. And down to figure number 5. We're in the top 5 now, guys. If you made it this far, thank you for making it. If you didn't, well, thanks for trying. That's all I can really say. But anyway, this figure was technically released last year, at least this run of him. There was recently a reissue, so I would say that technically counts. But this is the Mafex Black Panther from the Black Panther movie. And, there's a couple reasons why I wanted to include him as number 5. Partly because, this is the most agile Black Panther figure you can get on the market. The accessories are perfect, the sculpt is perfect, the paint's mostly perfect. There's slight hits and misses, but for the most part, the paint and sculpt are absolutely perfect. And the sculpt to the likeness of Chadwick Boseman is amazing. It's not perfect, the sculpt or the paint, especially not the paint, but it's so close. And for that, I applaud Medicom for just making us a great Black Panther. And if you have the SH Figuarts, I've seen the downfalls of that one. I'd recommend trading that one in for this, because this is a great Black Panther figure. If you have the Marvel Legends and you're fine with that one, you don't have to get this one, obviously. But if you want a really good hyper-articulated Black Panther, this is the one. So anyway, and real quick, I did pay tribute and post pics of him fighting battle droids on Instagram in tribute to Chadwick Boseman passing away. So, RIP to him, and I hope his family's doing alright, and everything like that. So, anyway, let's get back on track and go to figure number 4. And coming in at figure number 4 is the SH Figuarts Taskmaster, and I love this figure partly because of the color scheme, partly because it's another MCU villain that we desperately needed for our MCU displays. But I put him at number 4, even though I love this thing to death, because I abso-freaking-lutely hate the pouch on the left leg and the unholstered. I just hate first of all, I hate the swap out holstered unholstered gun crap, and I also hate this pouch being just pegged in, because it really gets in the way of the hip movement, and it also tends to make these things pop off, and it's really annoying. Other than that, and that's really the most annoying thing, and probably also that the ankle pivot doesn't move much past that, and there's still some cut available, so I don't know what Bandai Tamashii was thinking there, but oh well. But anyway, I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. Other than that, he is freaking awesome, so let's go ahead and move to the top 3 with figure number 3. And coming in at number 3 is the Marvel Legends Ryan Reynolds Deadpool 2 Deadpool, and holy crap, Hasbro has hit the nail on the head with this one. It's not perfect, but it articulates almost like an import. It's awesome. And yes, he is holding a Fortnite shotgun because reasons. Because it's Deadpool. He can have a shotgun if he wants. But the biggest issue with the figure, and I did have to do it, and thankfully the trigger guards on mine did not break, but the Desert Eagles were glued into the holsters, which made 0 sense, but I did loosen them. They're fine. The trigger guard's intact, and they're actually a very snug fit, which I'm very happy about. So there's that one, and then there's the other one, so you can see there. Don't get me wrong, they do look a bit banged up. They do look a bit banged up from being from the glue, but even still, and He has the perfect amount of hands. He's got his katanas. He even has a freaking unicorn. I mean, what more could you want um, from a mass-produced Ryan Reynolds Deadpool? And he's also got this knife that pulls out of the boot sheath. So, but anyway, yeah, this is one of my favorite figures of the year. It's not my first favorite actually, but it may change my mind later. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, let's move on to figure number 2. And going to figure number 2, we have the SH Figuarts solo movie Black Widow figure, and I did not expect to love this more than the other two that I had, but I do. It's weird. I don't know why. Um, I mean, there's not much I could really say without dragging it on and running out of time, but it's just a really good figure. I mean, yeah, it has a lot of the same cues from the other ones, but mainly the annoying swap out gun holsters. But other than that, I mean, this thing is so close to perfection. My only issue is I wish it had an alternate head, whether she's looking to the side or looking a bit more angry or whatever. But anyway, she's still a really good figure, and that's why she's number 2. So let's move on to the final and number 1 figure of the. And yes, Wade Wilson is a bit, unhappy about the turnout, but my favorite figure of the year is the Mafex Thor from Infinity War, and holy crap, it's like Medicom Toy took a page out of Hot Toys' book and was like, okay, we'll make all 6 discs removable, we'll give him 3 optional heads, we'll basically just make him like our version of the Hot Toys figure, but half the size and a fraction of the cost, because Hot Toys is not cheap. I mean, Jesus Christ, Hot Toys is expensive, but I mean, hey, it could be worse, whether it be 1/12 scale or 1/6 scale. So, but anyway, this thing is just so amazing. I'm so glad to finally have some version of Thor in my collection, and yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with this one. I do kind of want to get the SH Figuarts Avengers Thor just so I have an alternate look, but I mean, if I get him, cool. If not, it's not a big deal, because this is probably the ultimate Thor you can get on the market. So, for 1/12 scale at least. So, but anyway, that's gonna do it for my top 10 figures for Marvel of 2020. I hope you made it this far, and if you didn't, again, thanks for trying. And yeah, it's been a great year for Marvel figures. Like, I think I got more Marvel figures than Star Wars figures, which is insane. But it is what it is. Sometimes it happens. But anyway, thanks for sticking around this long. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my top 15 overall favorite figures of 2020.